that we need to follow, apart from, the framework, that ANC has already laid down from the beginning?
I think that is clear. I think that is clear. The comrades, they will help me. This is our second question. Can we get the third one and then now? Okay. Comrade.
Now I want to ask to join the ANC island. What are the requirements as a person?
Okay. That is the third question, which is also very clear. That is very clear. So we got 3 questions. Comrades from you. Anyone can just lift up the hands and then you can just help us on this. Okay, which one you will take? You will take all 3 or you will take one?
I'll touch on all 3, comrade, but I may not complete them all. For example, the issue of the requirement for joining the ANC, comrade, it's very clear in the ANC constitution. I don't want to misquote it, but we can check it now online whilst I'm going to the next question. Comrade, can you Google the ANC?
Hello?
It says very clear that you have to be a South African, right? Or if you are in South Africa, you have to identify with the struggle that's taking place in South Africa. But I don't want to misquote it verbatim because it's there, we can read it together. I think it's unless if somebody has the constitution printed. You have it there.
Yeah, I can read it out to you, because I have the full conditions here. It says at the top, membership of the ANC shall be open to all South Africans above the age of 18, irrespective of race, color, and creed, who accept its principles, policies, and programs, and are prepared to abide by its constitution and rules. Spouses or children of South Africans who have manifested a clear identification with the South African people and its struggle may apply for membership. All other persons who have manifested a clear identification with the South African people and their struggle and are resident in South Africa may apply for membership. Yeah, I think those will be the most important. Yeah.
In trying to clarify, you can see, comrade, the first 2 doesn't actually say you should be a resident in South Africa. It's the third one that even a person who is not necessarily South African but reside in South Africa may be a member. I don't know if it clarifies you on that, comrade.
Or is the spouse?
Or the spouse. The first 2, you read about 3 things there. It's only the third one that it says you have to be a resident. In other words, a person who lives in South Africa for other reasons, say he's a worker from Ireland, he lives there, and he identifies something with ANC, can also become a member. I think it's clear, and we can clarify further if
Do you
this.
have the link for that?
Sorry?
Link.
ANC.org.za, I think. And that is a very resourceful website, comrade, because you can read everything for yourself and you don't open it. That is, I think it answers the third question, comrade.
Okay.
Now, the second part is what is the goal of the branch, as he asked. If you, on the same constitution, it shows what are the aims and objectives of the ANC, which are very broad. Now, you can actually see that based on those broad ones, you would need a branch to be able to pursue them. So in this case, the branch first have to make sure that it approaches all the people who qualify to join to form the branch. And following that is to try and achieve those objectives. And one of them is about the programs that we have on this thing. To make sure that they celebrate certain days together and that they go to workshops which will produce. The more you go to workshops, the more you'll get what type of issues you have to deal with. I don't know if it gets clear, comrade. And it actually it expands further and further the more you get to the educational programs and all that. Then I'll go to the other one about home affairs issues, whether the ANC will help with that. You know, the more you get involved, the more you get to understand the relations between different bodies of the government. Just to give you a quick example now, comrade. The ANC is the ruling party at home. And the current ambassador we have here has been sent by the government at home to be an ambassador here. And amongst other things that they do at the embassy is to make sure that South Africans who live in a particular country, not only Ireland, when they have embassies all over the world, is to make sure that if there's any South African who lives in that part of the world and is looking for documents that are in South Africa, the embassy can facilitate you to get those documents. But remember, the embassy does not have those documents here. They still send those things to South Africa, to Home Affairs. So sometimes it might take time in that way, but that is the only place you can go where you can say, look, I'm South African and here are my documents. Otherwise, there's nobody else here who knows that you are South African except your own embassy. And they don't have any other of those departments that are at home. Because if they were to have everything here, they'll have the full government here. So you could access Home Affairs, Department of Health in the embassy. Then that office that we call embassy would not even cater for all those things. Because even back at home, those things are not in one building. But they can, it's your way to communicate with your government at home. And the ANC here can first facilitate in making sure that the embassy listens to your request. If there's any delays, we can find out for you. Why are there delays and get an explanation? You know, we can point you in the right direction. But we know that they also have to still send things somewhere else. So if you experience any difficulties, let us know so that we can check for you. Like some of us are in Dublin, we can quickly check for what is wrong with the system, why is it running slow? Then, you know, we can follow things up for you. I don't know if I've covered all the questions.
As far as
Can I add something there? Another thing I would suggest to your question, I always tell people sometimes there are things that you don't need to require through the embassy. There are things that you can do them as a person that makes the thing easy. Because for a long birth, you don't need to be there in South Africa to request a long birth. You can phone your auntie, you can phone your mother, you can phone whoever. And it's quite quicker than doing it through the embassy. Because the embassy, when they courier things, they have to wait for a bulk number of things to courier at home. And it takes forever. That's why it takes 6 months. But if you do it yourself, it takes only 1 week. I promise you, only 1 week and your thing will be here. So let's start this tendency of depending too much to the embassy and start doing things ourselves and seek information out there rather than always ringing the embassy and say the embassy is not efficient. The embassy can do so much because they work with the budget. So they cannot just, when you come to the office and send your application alone, they have to wait. If they have to send 10 things, they will wait for another 6 months before they get that bulk of 10 things. So I would advise for people who want documents to phone, to contact their relatives at home. There are things that don't need your signature, like in the form of long back. I'm quite sure you don't need any signature. It can be done with you or without you. And what else can be done without you? There's few things that can be done, but it's a matter of asking even the people from home, or even because embassy sometimes they won't tell you some of the things. They're not clear because they structure. They do things their way. They won't let you know these things. But for you, it's a matter of using the information from the grassroots because we're more advanced in other things. So we have to just use our common sense in dealing with other situations. I think tackled your question a bit because I think that's the problem. Which there is a backlog in the embassy, things get delayed and people wait forever to get their documents. So rather than pushing the thing to the ANC, let's just deal it with the common sense of some of the things. Am I clear?
Okay. Are we happy with the answers? All right. Now we're coming to other questions. I'm also going to take 3 of them. I think
He also wants to add on that.
You want to add or you want to ask?
Add on that, just
To
to
add.
update.
Oh, okay. Okay, let you go.
No, just to let you know that by constitutional amendment as of January 1st this year, there's no such thing as a short form birth certificate anymore. So when you apply for birth certificate in South Africa, you're automatically entitled to the long form. So it's like all you have to do is just apply. And according to what I read, when you do already have the short form, you can just hand it in. Like she said, you don't need to be there. Somebody can just do it for you.
Izandla bethu. Because of the ANC is on launcher up, and now we got more information from even other people. Okay. On that question of how you will join ANC, I like that statement of you must be 18 years old. I like that because they need you to be conscious what you're doing. Because if you are a baby, you can't do proper thing. Amandla! Comrade. I will still going to take a 3 because, as I said, ANC as a whole, it's very transparent. So we will not hide anything. I know the time is up, but I just want you to ask, I just want you to get any information because we avoid the gossiping. Those people, they are coming here, or they nominate those one, those one. No. We want you to ask here, and then we will give you the answer. Okay, let's go to 3 questions again before we go to the 2 things. They are left there. Hand. We're done. We're done. We just catch like this, comrades. This channel will work. Will work nicely. Okay. Now, as comrade Bumi asked about the funeral cover and police discussions. Before even the questions there, we like Mr. Maposa, if he can just come over here and then he can give the details of that funeral cover and policy thing in this meeting.
Yeah. Okay, who asked the question? What was the question again? No. Oh, you want the overview of the funeral thing, yeah? Okay, there is a way in which people can be helped, especially when people happens to pass away in Ireland. Mercy Brothers and Irish Financial Services are there to help. So people need to be members of Mercy and Brothers and IFS insurance thing. So people can subscribe to that. Comrade, I think you've got a new leaflet there, yeah?
Yeah, this is the one that I'm putting out there.
And would you, have you got printouts you can give it out to people? That would have been handy.
This latest point came in very late, comrade. Maybe I should, just to excuse comrade there. At some stage he handed me the issue to me, and this is the latest, and I couldn't print it out. Ne? Accordingly, there were supposed to be these guys coming to present this thing to us here. Now, there's 2 components to this thing, comrade. There is the funeral cover side and the insurance part of it. And when these people wanted to explain this, they need to be here, both of them. What they're saying is that the one part is, you know, the mortuary side of it, if I may call it. If somebody dies, how he's picked up, airport things and all those things. The other part is the payment part of how that guy gets paid by the insurance. So there's 2 things to the story. Now, they want to be together to explain to us. Now, because of we informed them very late about this meeting here, one of them was available, the insurance part of things. The funeral side of things, guy, he's got a wedding in his family. And he says he only misses weddings when there's a death, because he's in the business of funeral covers, mind you. If there's a death, that's the only thing he can say to the family, I can't come to the wedding, because you know this is my business. But now, this was a presentation. He can't pull out of the wedding. So the other guy couldn't come because the other part is not there, and we're going to ask him questions about the other side. And they said this is the latest information here.
But comrade, you remember the leaflets I gave you?
Yeah.
Do you have them with you? Then we can just give them to everyone here. They can read it.
No, I don't have all of them because, and the reason why we didn't bring them is because of the information on them. is a bit outdated. So if we start giving to people, they take that as the latest information. That's what the guy was saying. That's why he was sending me this one.
Okay.
To say,
just to outline how important it is when we are in Ireland to have such things in place. It's very important. I think it's about between 8 to 10,000 euros to actually expatriate the body. So it's very important as people in Ireland that we look after ourselves, that we subscribe to such things, because we never know what may happen. Now I've heard that someone passed away here. I don't know if someone is going to raise that question. What's going to happen? I believe there's a lot of issues around the body being repatriated to South Africa and all that. There are other things that we can do, just simple things. It's only that South Africans don't actually talk about their problems. They keep it to themselves, and that becomes a problem. But some of the things are just easy to solve, you know. We can solve some of the problems very easily. But it's only that South Africans don't, you know, they tend to keep to themselves. And when someone gets married to a Mlungu, you know, he ends up with Mlungu there around the corner, and they don't want to, you know, integrate with other people. There's a lot of problems. So we have a lot of work to do. But when that information comes up, because, you know, I don't want to misrepresent them, you know, because they both have to be here themselves. Because what they say to you is legally binding, you know, and it has to comply with the financial regularity body, whatever. Because it took us a long time to actually register this thing, because we have to go through the financial regulations of Ireland and all that. But at least that work is done. When someone passed away in Ireland and they have a policy, they'll be able to be buried at home in South Africa. I don't want to be buried here. I don't know you. I mean, I have a lot of experience with racism and a lot of things. I mean, I don't know. Some of you may know that I'm an activist. So through my route as you know, fighting for immigrants, I've been through hell, and I don't see myself sleeping in that graveyard next to an Irish person. I don't like that. So I'd rather be buried at home. So okay, that was it. Oh, another
Can I
one.
just ask, Comrade, it's not clear when you say we can do something. Who can do something? Are you saying the ANC can help, or is it the insurance people that can help?
Oh yeah. Let me just explain. It's like a policy, okay? You register, okay? There is a form. That will be distributed at a later stage. I think we will, when we get that information, we'll give it to you, and then you'll give it to members. They have to fill in a form. It will explain that. Now, there's a rough here. This is not the latest, you know, form, as he just explained. Okay. The requirements are here. Completed proposal and accepted by insurance underwriter. So there's a form that you need to fill in. There's going to be a direct debit mandate from the bank account. So that means they're going to take that money from your account. Proof of address, dated within the first 3 months. That's one of the requirements. Valid photograph ID. Of course, we need to know who you are. Of course, what happens is when someone passed away, Messi Brothers will do the job. I mean, we did that already to, you know, the Malawian girl that was put in a suitcase. With Messi Brothers, we managed to help, and they managed to repatriate the body to South Africa. Yeah, we got. I mean, you know, they managed to organize, and we spoke to Messi Brothers, and you know, they managed to give us a very good deal to make sure that the body, you know, was repatriated home. But you know, it was a horrific incident, you know, so they sponsored that themselves, because you know, I had a word with them, and they managed to do that free of charge. But they're not going to do that to me and you or to other people. So let's just, you know, so it's very important that people pay. But the money is not that much. I mean, that you pay for the policy. For instance, here, now this, I must say now, these are not the latest figures, you know, this is a bit out of date. But it said here, age 45, okay, if you're age 45, and you are a male non-smoker, okay, you pay €17.34. And if you smoke, we put another €3, so it's going to be a little bit more. Female smoker, is it non-smoker? Smoker, no, female smoker is €22, and non-smoker is 16.14. So over 50 and more, €21 for a non-smoker. That's a male. And female non-smoker is 19.50. So you can see the females are a little bit cheaper.
Just there, comrade. You know, this guy, when he phoned me and said, don't distribute that. Apparently there's been a change with just the males and the females. Something has switched because of the latest, You know, they keep on reviewing their
Yes.
things. So he said distributing this is going to give you wrong
A
impression.
misinterpretation.
Yeah, then I said, look, I'm not going to issue this thing out because the next time you'll be asking me, why is this changing?
Okay.
Hence, this guy are saying they'll come to our next meeting with the latest everything.
Okay.
You know, it's very dangerous to give people something that's not
So
latest.
obviously this was just a rough picture. Like when you're 30 years, you pay 12 euros something. You know, I mean, it's not a lot of money that you pay every month. You know, but obviously it's going to be a little bit more or a little bit less. I'm just giving you a rough how much it's going to be. It's not a lot of money. I mean, most of us spend this money on a Friday after we get paid. We spend 100 euros just like that on buying alcohol. So I mean, to spend 50 euros a month on this or less.
What was the cover then? Like for example, because I know you have to
Oh,
change.
okay, you mean for an example, what will be the cover?
Yeah.
The cover was. Okay, hold on. Do we have the figures here? Okay, I think the cover here was the benefit was about 15,000 euros. But obviously, that 15,000 euros covers, you know, for the coffins and for the flights and for the body to be prepared. Now you must remember, when you are gone, okay. We will go at some stage, all of us. But when you're gone, your body has to be prepared as well to fit the, you know, it's not just like you going home. The body has to be prepared in such a manner that it complies with the law, because they've got regulations and a lot of things. What I know we did with the past 2 incidents, I think the body was flown to the UK, and then it was prepared over there, and then over to, direct to Malawi. And the other one, I think, was to Tanzania, the other one. So that's what happens. But I mean, if you have any problem or if something like that happens, I mean, you can call me and I can always talk to Messi Brothers about your issue and we see how we can help. It's not gonna be free, but I mean, it's not gonna be as expensive as you just approach any funeral undertaker. You know how things works in Ireland? It's who you know. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
Are you covered on that question? Is it ANC or is it something else?
I just wanted that clarification because people have the notion that the ANC will be able to help with the cover. So it's not the ANC, it's people, it's individuals who contribute towards this cover. Okay. But of course we have ANC members that could assist.
No, the ANC will help. This has got absolutely nothing to do with the ANC, but we won't mind to support this initiative. Yes. I mean, but there's
We
nothing
all hear, comrades.
Yes.
I just want to, that part, we must hear clearly. That one, I need us to hear clearly, so that ANC is not going to be pointing the fingers.
No.
We hear that. Okay. We still have more questions before we close?
No, just to stress the fact that this is individual. It's not a group of people paying this money and anybody in the group, you know, can be in the plan. It's individual.
It's individual issue, yes. Yes. Okay, Zagesis.
It's individual issues, but with the help of our conduct. This is our conduct. The price, there's going to be some discounts when we do it, because Maposa knows the people that runs this parlor. So it's different. Comparing prices around, you'll find that this one will be much cheaper. And if you say you've been referred by the ANC, then there's going to be some adjustment on your side. Yeah. But we won't be paying for people.
Okay. Causes.
Like ndifuna ungcwatyelwa apha isezawunceda or ayisebenzi ngakelami icala ngoba mna ndingumbaqambini ngoku yabona ke.
Okay. Mr. Maposa, the question I think it still comes to you again.
Okay, yes.
She asked.
She wants to be buried here, yes.
Oh, yeah. You covered my sister.
Yeah.
He said, no, you're okay.
Yeah, you're okay.
Even you want to bury it here, you're okay.
It applies to you.
Okay. Here's other.
So still about the plan. The plan covers what? Just the body to be flown home, no relatives or anything.
Okay, you know what? Let me take a seat there. Yeah? I think there's more questions coming up, and of course I'll take this as well. Yeah?
This is very important.
Okay, what was the question again? Is it covering only the body repatriation
Yes.
to South Africa?
Mm.
Yes, it does.
No relatives.
And the coffin as well. Relatives like? You mean?
No, I'm just saying, so if it's your sister or your spouse or anybody, you know.
Can I read something here, comrade, that will answer you?
Yeah.
This plan can be tailored to ensure sufficient funds are available. I'm reading from their cover. To cover the cost of repatriation anywhere in the world. Provision can also be made for local funeral costs, airfares for family members to travel home.
Yeah.
Should the death benefit payout be more than the actual cost of repatriation, Mercy Brothers will return the balance to your estate. I think even on that, in some way they say, when you're about to be flown home, comrade, I think it also happens that they'll check for a cheap flight. You can actually, that pamphlet says 15,000. If they get a cheap flight, you are covered for 15,000. And I hate explaining this part because, comrade, we're saying to you, these guys are ready to come and explain to you. But the moment we discuss it, you're going to say you heard it from me. We shouldn't be, trying to do it further. They are saying if they get a cheap flight, whatever the 15,000 is yours. If they get a cheap flight, the rest comes to you. They understand, comrade? There are times when the fares are, if you're to fly home and it's the 23rd of December, then you must know you're going to pay a lot of money.
Can I also point something out there, comrade? I think it depends on. Obviously, you're not gonna get 5 or 10 people on a plane because someone passed away. You're not gonna expect Mercy Brothers to pay for 5 or 10 people to take the body home. It depends on the need. Sometimes it may happen that the spouse is in South Africa or is in Malawi or is somewhere. They have to fly in to come and identify the body here. Because you have to know that if someone dies here and they don't have their spouse here, doesn't matter where the spouse is. That body cannot be released until it's identified by the spouse. So it depends, but I mean, obviously, that will be facilitated. That won't be a problem. I know we didn't have a problem with that. They're quite flexible and they're very good people, to be honest. So I think they will do everything to make sure that everything goes well. I know that. So that answers the question.
Okay. Oh, it's Alexis.
The last edition. Another thing that people need to know in connection with this death and so forth, when you lose someone, the first, I know people, in people's minds, your brain locks. You don't know what to do. You don't know who to contact, what to do next. But there's something that people always do last, to go and apply for the permit in the embassy. When somebody dies, you need to consult the embassy to fill the form because the body cannot be fly out of the country without filling that permit, which the palace, they don't tell you about. They think that you as a person are supposed to know it. So when you lose someone, go to the embassy and apply for the permit to release the body to your country.